This episode brought to you by Stamps.com. Why go to the store to get stamps when you can have them printed right at home for your convenience? Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to. You know, I never saw Brad Bird as a man who directed masterpieces.
How dare you!
But that's part of what makes his work so special. If you were to link films with, say, restaurants, Citizen Kane and Seven Seal would be the classic 5-star places, Into the Spider-Verse and Hereditary might be one of those off-color experimental spots, fast food would be, I guess it depends on the chain, and Brad Bird films would be those ma-and-pa restaurants. They're not creating anything new, but they're taking something that already gives us joy and adding their own unique touches to it. Think about it, a superhero family, we've seen that. An unconventional chef, that's been done. Mission Impossible is clearly based on the 60s show Get Smart. And naturally, a friendly creature from space is found by a child who wants to hide it from a big bad organization. Yes! Best comeback from a director ever! You know I'm talking about Iron Giant. Though a financial disappointment when it first came out, Iron Giant has grown a massive following since its premiere in 1999, resulting in merchandise, TV marathons, even appearances in other movies. It's said by many to be Brad Bird's magnum opus, and to some extent, I do agree. It is incredibly charming, clever, and heartwarming, but from a storytelling perspective, it's not doing anything that groundbreaking. In fact, you could argue this is one of the most overdone kids' films cliches. With that said, it falls into a category of other great films that use familiar stories but tell them in such a way that they feel brand new. So what is it about Iron Giant that clicked with people just enough to overlook the little faults that it had? Well, let's go back in time to the 90s so we can go back in time to the 50s. This is Iron Giant. The film begins with a flaming ball from space landing off the coast of Maine. Oh, thank God, last time I played that drinking game I ended up in Kingdom Hospital, and they were weird there. A sailor, played by M. Emmett Walsh, thinks he sees a lighthouse, but the lighthouse sees him.
Bite my colossal metal ass!
The sailor washes onto shore, and we cut to the next day where we see a little boy named Hogarth, played by Eli Marienthal, visit his mom Annie, played by Jennifer Aniston, at a diner where she works.
Guess what I found?
Hogarth, we've been through this before. No pets.
I told you, no pets unless they're over 2 stories and recyclable. I know they're weird conditions, but they're my conditions.
Do you remember the raccoon, Hogarth? Ugh, I remember the raccoon.
Don't worry, he got his in another Bird production. His new pet is a squirrel that escaped and goes up the pant leg of a customer named Dean, played by Harry Connick Jr.
My son bothering you?
Yes. No! Call me Dean.
Don't worry, she's used to this behavior when people ask about a friend's reunion. He interrupts talking to the little boy to take his squirrel out of his pants. What was this rated? And it runs amok throughout the diner. I don't know if there's a poll for the best spit take, but that would definitely be in the top 3.
Check, please.
This is one of those movies that thrives on little touches. Most kids in films just say hello when they're answering the phone, but Hogarth has the traditional greeting most parents teach their kids, complete with disinterest.
Hello, this is Hogarth Hughes speaking. Who's calling, please? Hello, this is Hogarth Hughes speaking. Who's calling, please?
You'll also notice a waitress opens the door on Annie.
Thank you.
If you've worked at a restaurant, you know it doesn't matter if she cured polio, that's your bitch of the day. Even the corny movie Hogarth watches has a cheesy feel of the time period. You could easily see this on Mystery Science Theater.
Darn. I seem to have left my keys in the lab.
Or a Neil Breen production. Something messes with the reception, though, and everything else around the house, so Hogarth gears up to search for what it could be. Minus 2 points for not making a teaser poster out of that! He finds the Iron Giant, making this a very short movie. No, he's spared, but our giant friend gets zapped when he's trying to eat some metal. Hogarth saves him by turning off the power. You know those giant on-off switches that are easy to access. How's the power outage not happened here earlier, causing the giant to pass out? Somehow this is still less scary than the snowman that came to life last winter. The giant disappears and he stumbles across his mother searching for him.
It's a
Hogarth,
robot!
just-
It really
Hogarth,
is! Metal!
stop it! Just stop.
I'm always impressed how Aniston can take what's often a very thankless role and give it more dimension than what's usually written. Annie's not the most complex character, but every line delivery sucks you into whatever emotion she's going through.
I'm not in the mood.
Even the confusion in how she says okay is so believable, it gets a laugh.
Forgot to wash my hands.
Well, okay.
Remember when that was met with a shrug instead of a "you better"? We may have our differences, but there's some things we can all agree on. The duck and cover short is the funniest part of the movie.
Time to duck and cover, the bombs are coming down. Duck and cover.
Oh my god, that's so good! The sailor calls the government about the metal giant he saw, so they send in Kent Mansley, played by, I'm just gonna say it, the greatest typecast bully in cinema history, Christopher McDonald.
Hogarth? An embarrassing name. Might as well call him Zeppo or something.
He's one of those actors who always plays the same horribly written antagonist, yet somehow always makes it funny.
I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
No.
He's the exact same here. Not that Mansley is badly written. He's got a few funny scenes, and I swear to God this needs to be a t-shirt. But McDonald's performance elevates it to a whole new level of hilarity.
Good for Happy Gilmore. Oh my God!
Probably the homecoming queen. Oh my God!
I also like he isn't just a kook that no one believes, like he talks about aliens or Bigfoot all the time or something. He has to be convinced like everyone else, and thankfully, he's convinced very early, making it funnier when no one believes him as he knows too how totally ridiculous it sounds.
A giant metal monster.
He does have some sense, he's just not always that kind or bright in utilizing it.
I don't feel safe, Hogarth. Do you?
I'm talking about your gold-armed security, Hogarth! While you're snoozing in your wooded jammies, we're wide awake and worried.
That's a great impression of modern journalism. Hogarth returns to the woods to find the giant, but it looks like the giant finds him.
Do you talk? Blah, 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 like that? You get the idea anyway.
Why, this is so innocent. It must have a dog head turn.
Don't you remember anything? Maybe it's that bump on your head.
Of course, robot amnesia works the exact same as human amnesia. I'll tell you, if he acts like James Franco in his second childhood, I am all in.
That's right!
Now, this is embarrassing, but I once wrote you a play in high school.
The giant, voiced by Vin Diesel's easiest paycheck since I Am Groot, acts like a lost child who only trusts Hogarth as he saved his life.
My own giant robot. I am now the luckiest kid in America.
It's like those Transformer movies, minus the horniness and racism! Surprising as this is the 50s.
No. Me go. You stay. No following.
Ever guessed at a track convention? He starts eating the tracks when, of course, a train starts making its way towards them.
There's one here, that one there. Okay, good enough. Let's go.
He was gonna let that train derail. It's not a Brad Bird film without a body count. The giant is hit, but he puts himself back together as his missing limbs home in on the rest of him.
Wow, you can fix yourself?
It took years of Buddhist meditation, but... Oh,
Stay
okay.
here, okay? I'll be back.
Mansley talks to the train engineers, voiced by Animation In-Jokes, and goes to Hogarth's house to use the phone.
Would you say grace, please?
Hogarth's in trouble, though, when he finds the giant give a hand in the kitchen. I was this close to saying that joke was too stupid, no regrets.
Just put in front of us and stop!
Thank God robot hands are equipped with human hearing.
The devil! Get out of here! Satan.
Have you been watching Sean Hannity again? Everything about this scene is comic gold. The hand spontaneously moving like a dog, Hogarth's reaction to creating a diversion by causing too much damage, and of course Hogarth's meeting of Mansley.
Hey there, Scout. Kent Mansley. I work for the government.
Back when... No, that's always been a typical response. Care to see one of the reasons this movie's PG?
Oh, hello there.
Can I boob your phone? I mean, can I abuse my bone? He tries to get General Rogard, played by John Mahoney, to investigate the giant, but naturally he doesn't believe him.
If you told me you'd found, say, giant footprint, I might send over an expert. Hell, you get me a photograph of this thing and I could probably get some troops over there.
Hell, if you get a Pete Townshend musical about the whole thing, I'll come out there myself! That might take a little research for some of you, but you'll get it. He puts together that Hogarth saw the giant and questions him.
See anything unusual, Hogarth?
Gotta use the bathroom.
Why does my cooking always result in that reaction? God, this is probably what killed his father. The hand is in the bathroom just before this awkwardness.
Mom! Little privacy!
Sorry.
Ew, I just got a sneak peek of Elsagate. Mansley leaves and Hogarth brings the giant his equivalent of bedtime stories.
Superman. Sure, he's famous now, but he started off just like you.
Oh yeah, I guess I can add that to the list of films that did this already. The giant gets hungry, so Hogarth takes him to a junkyard where he can get some metal.
All you can eat.
Yeah, he's just like Superman. Well, Superman didn't eat his own kind like a cannibal. Maybe in the Snyder Cut.
All right, who's out there?
It turns out Dean owns the junkyard, so Hogarth distracts him while the giant continues to eat.
Once I turn it into art, I can't give it away. What am I? A junk man who sells art or an artist who sells junk?
The verdict is still out on some directors. Dean hears something outside and discovers the giant, but Hogarth convinces him that they're friends and that it's best if he stays there for the time being. Back at home, Mansley rents out the extra room at the house so he can interrogate Hogarth further.
You think this middleman is fun, but who built it? The Russians, the Chinese, Martians, Canadians? I don't care!
Canadians. You're always America's punchline because America's the rest of the world's punchline. Hogarth slips him a laxative because this is still a 90s movie and that was the comedic answer to everything, and he escapes. He gets to the giant and they just kind of play for the next few scenes. Yeah, this is where the writing could possibly be a little better. The scenes where they play are funny and entertaining, but they don't really further that much. I know it strengthens the connection between these characters, I don't want to see them cut, but somehow they could integrate their way into the story a bit stronger. I don't know, like, wouldn't they be questioning him more or communicating with him more? I get a little kid acting this way, but a grown man discovering an alien and just having a picnic the next day seems a little odd. But like I said before, these are minor issues and are often followed by stronger scenes. To be fair, that deer didn't notice a 100-ton robot till he was a few feet away. A hunter would have gotten him relatively soon.
Gun.
Yes. Guns kill.
Guns kill.
That's why you'll never see me with one of those. Well, I'm a hypocrite. Hogarth has a talk with the giant about what death is and whether or not he can die. You know, kid stuff!
You're made of metal, but you have feelings, and you think about things, and that means you have a soul.
Christ, you're making me feel for all my electronics!
Do you want to play a game?
What is it you want to do?
Nobody's ever asked me that before. I suppose die.
That went dark. Mansley discovers a picture Hogarth took with the giant, calls the general, and demands Hogarth tells him where to find him.
Protect your mother.
My mom?
In fact, we can make it so difficult that it would be irresponsible for us to leave you in her care.
Letting you play the power station, almost getting hit by trains, messing with dangerous weaponized machines. You know, he might have a point. Hogarth tells Mansley he's at the junkyard, and Mansley keeps him in his room until the army arrives. You did that like it's a thing kids do. Mansley falls asleep, though, giving Hogarth time to warn Dean.
Anyway, I haven't sold him yet, so if you really want him...
Not gonna lie, I'm kinda shocked nobody's made a collector's model out of that. Duck and cover is the funniest scene, but this is a close second.
You realize how much hardware I brought out here? You just blew millions of Uncle Sam's dollars out of your butt!
The military heads back, and once again, they start playing.
Only one creature could create so much destruction.
As if that wasn't out of nowhere, the giant sees Hogarth's gun as a threat, and Dean does a complete 180 on him.
He's our friend.
He's a piece of hardware, Hogarth.
He's a weapon, a big gun that walks.
I know the giant shot at the kid, but there's not even like a look of shock on his face. Like he always knew this could happen despite him not giving any indication. Yeah, sure, he can stay here, can't see any problems. Yeah, sure, I'll hide him. Good thing you notified me about that. He's a monster!
Get back!
But the funny thing is, there's actually a deleted scene that accounts for this. The giant dreams about where he came from and destroying the Earth while he projects his visions on the TV, with Dean catching the tail end of it. Had they kept that scene in, this moment would have made a lot more sense, but in the original, it's pretty sporadic.
You almost did that to Hogarth!
No, you guys don't play nice. I'm telling my mom. She's a Megazord.
He reacted to the gun.
You're not gonna get there fast enough on foot.
Hey, I changed my mind again. Maybe we can see a flick and I can give you all 5 of my opinions on it. Oh, who am I kidding? That's kind of what I do.
Give me the binoculars. What? It's big. It's walking away. Hey.
The giant walks towards town where 2 kids fall and he saves them just in time.
Dad! Daddy!
It's okay. The giant brat bird ears we all have would have cushioned our fall. The army sees the giant and naturally attacks. The giant figures out he can fly though.
Try pointing your arm straight ahead, like Superman!
Awesome! Now sacrifice yourself even though we know you're gonna come back later! But, you know, do it good! He's shot down though, believing that Hogarth didn't survive the fall. He didn't even live long enough to do that great spoon scene from Country Bears. The giant's memory returns and he remembers his original mission. Fuck him up! Faster, faster, faster! Hogarth, of course, is still alive, and the army figures they can wipe out one killer machine with another killer machine.
We've hit it with everything we've got.
Not everything, General. The bomb.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. I have my glasses on. Could you say again?
The bomb.
We have to evacuate the
What are you
area.
talking about? We gotta get this boy to a hospital.
What boy?
That's when it hit them. Hogarth had been dead for 10 years. I'm just kidding, he's over there.
No, wait, it's me! Hogarth, remember?
Anyone else see that? Anyone else? No? Okay, maybe I just want a last Airbender penis hair moment. I want to notice one! Hogarth brings him back to his senses, but Mansley orders the missile to attack the giant.
Where's the giant, Mansley?
What?
Have I mentioned this is a great villain yet? He shouts the battle cry of, let's be honest, most politicians.
Screw our country! I want to live!
But the giant stops him and realizes what he has to do.
You stay. I go. No following.
He flies into the air, destroying the bomb and himself. Which is kind of redundant when you think about it. A statue is made in his honor. Dean and Annie become a couple as they talked once and a half. And Hogarth is given the only piece they found of the giant.
He said it was the only part recovered. He thought you should have it.
They say it was his kidney stone. Wash your hands before eating. In one of the most perfect endings a film could have, the piece taps at the window, wanting to connect to the rest of the giant. He even apparently took the box with him in one frame.
See you later.
The giant slowly, but literally, pulls himself together to fly another day.
Fade out already. We got the joke.
And that was The Iron Giant. It's familiar, but what's wrong with that? I'm glad it finally got the audience it deserves, as over time it's become a favorite for many families. The animation is gorgeous, the comedy is funny, the characters are super charming, and the heartfelt moments feel genuine rather than forced. In a time where hand-drawn films are sadly not really a thing anymore, I'm glad this one continued to grow a crowd over the years. Though I guess I can't say it's entirely perfect, it becomes more and more likable with every viewing. And that doesn't make it perfect, but it does make it a classic. I'm a nostalgia critic, guy, remember, so you don't have to.
Probably the homecoming queen. Oh my God!